Good morning, students. In today's video we will continue our discussion of errors. So in last video we introduced that what exactly error is, and we also learned that any measured value regarding any physical quantity will have certain amount of uncertainties in it, and those uncertainties are named as errors. Now from that point we will begin today that any measurement have certain errors. But what are the reason behind this, that why this type of errors incorporated? So for that we understand like this, that the errors can be, depending upon the nature, can be classified as systematic errors and random errors. But before that, let's quickly recall that suppose that anything is measured and its actual value is x. Okay, so this x is the actual value of the physical quantity. So the amount of the error is nothing but the values greater or lesser than this that is associated with it. Values greater or lesser than this that is associated with it, which is known as x plus minus delta x, or simply you can say plus minus x. Okay. So suppose that if a proper length is 1 meter, okay, but in measurement, depending upon the equipment or the meter scale whatever we are using, the reading can be 1 meter plus minus say 0.5 centimeter. So this plus 5 centimeter or minus 5 centimeter, that in terms of 0.5 centimeter is the error. So this is the measured value, this is exactly measured value, and what was the actual value? Actual value was 1 meter. So actual value is 1 meter. So error is defined as measured value minus actual value. Always remember, measured value minus actual value. So measured value minus actual value, that is the plus minus, is 1 meter plus minus 0.5 centimeter. This is the way to represent error. Now depending upon the nature of the errors are defined as systematic errors and random errors. So let's understand what are the systematic errors. So the nature says that systematic errors may occur due to improper technique or flow in the experimental design or apparatus. So this is the theoretical reason. Now suppose that you are having a vernier caliper in your hand, okay, and with that you are measuring anything, a proper piece of length, but you don't know how to caliber, that means how to use, or rather in the simple term you can say you don't know the techniques of the measurement with the vernier caliper. So obviously your measurement will contain certain error, that means you may have the result greater than the true value or lesser than the true value. So this occurs due to the improper technique or even the flaw in the apparatus. Now the other side, suppose that the vernier caliper is not in proper condition itself. So you will try your level best and you will apply your best technique, known method for the measurement, but still the measurement will have certain error. So this is known as the improper technique or flaw in the experimental design or apparatus. Then the systematic errors cause the measured values to be consistently higher or lower than the actual value. So this is the general characteristics of the error, which we have already seen, that whenever the true value has certain greater or lesser values associated with it, that is the error, and that error is nothing but systematic error. So systematic error, you can say, is caused the, that is systematic errors cause the measured values to be different from the true value. Now this difference can be in the terms of greater than value or the lesser than value. So what we understood with this characteristic, that the systematic errors can't be reduced by conducting repeated trials. Systematic errors can't be reduced by conducting repeated trials. Reason, what I said, suppose that your technique is improper. So with the wrong technique, whatever number of time you will do the measurement, you will get the errorful measurement. On the second side, if your appliances, that is the device, is not proper, then also with the best effort you cannot have the errorless measurement. So this is the reason that we say that they can't be reduced, that is the systematic errors can't be reduced by conducting repeat trials. Now the next question is why these systematic errors gets incorporated. What are the sources of the systematic errors? So the primary sources of the systematic errors are instrumental errors, imperfection in experimental technique. So these two we already understood, that if the instrument itself is not proper, so with the improper instrument the result will be also having certain error. So this we cannot remove. Now the thing is that many times what happen, suppose that you are having a volume of liter to be measured as a device, it is printed 1 liter, so you are going with the information of the print that the container is of 1 liter but it might be that the symbols are not very proper, so even at 900 ml mark it is representing 1 liter. Now this is the instrumental error. Why? Because you are relying on the symbols, but the symbols itself are not at the proper place. So this is the instrumental error and you cannot remove it. If you will use this instrument, you will have the error value. Second is the imperfection in experimental technique. As I said, that you need to know the method and the technique to use any apparatus. If you don't use it properly, your reading will be containing a lot of error. So these are the two sources of error. Then we are having personal error. Now this personal error depends upon individual to individual, that how the experiment or the observation is considered. So it's not a very big deal, but it can be known or unknown, but this also contribute to the error. But the biggest error is the least count error, and please pay attention to the least count error as it is asked isolated also. So what exactly is least count error? First of all, we need to understand what is the least count. So least count is basically that smallest value which any instrument can measure. Mind it, what I am saying, smallest value that can be measured by an instrument is called its least count or the least count of the instrument. Now you must have seen a normal meter scale. So in meter scale what you have seen, that meter scale is divided into first centimeter, and every centimeter is divided into 10 part, that is the millimeter. So the smallest length that can be measured with the help of meter scale is millimeter, not beyond that. But what if we are trying to measure exactly, suppose that diameter of a hair, a human hair, with the meter scale? So obviously the result will be wrong, because the resolution or the least count of the apparatus, that is the meter scale itself, is very low. Similarly, least count of vernier caliper is 0.01 centimeter, and the least count of spherometer is 0.001 centimeter. So how precise instrument we are using, that will be according to the error, how much error will be there in our readings. So least count error is due to the, you can say, the resolution limit of the instrument itself. Okay, so the least count error is the error associated with the resolution of instrument. So the finer or the more precise the instrument is, less error it will be. Okay, then we are having the random errors. Now random errors are caused by known or unknown factors. Okay, so random errors are basically unpredictable. That means we exactly cannot be sure that why this error is coming. There could be multiple reasons. As for example, everything is fine, we are using this best technique, standard technique, we are following all the SOPs, that is the standard procedural. But if the environment around us is not appropriate, suppose that there are many experiments which occur which can be observed at a particular temperature, but suddenly the temperature of the environment rises, so obviously our result will be influenced. So measured value may be too high or too low in random errors. In systematic error, the measured value contains a little bit close relationship with the true value, but in random errors it can be too high or too low. Okay, and it can be positive or negative. Fine. So this is the random error. That means its nature is very much unpredictable. We cannot be very sure that why a particular reason is there or a set of reasons are there behind the error. After that, what we are having, then we are having random errors, how to minimize. So to minimize the random error, the best way is to make a number of observations. So if you are not very sure about any result, so you can repeat the experiment or the observation. Now why it will contribute? Because see, suppose that an observation is repeated for n times. So obviously the final value will be the mean value, that is 1 by n times. So this 1 by n times, that is the mean observation, will be closest value to the true value or actual value. So hence by repeating the number of observation we can reduce it. Now based on the nature, we are having basically three types of the error: absolute error, percentage error and relative error. So what is absolute error? So absolute error is basically defined as the amount of error in a measurement, that is how much error is occurring. Now how much it is occurring, how we can know? So absolute error value is measured value minus actual value. Mind it, measured value minus actual value. Second, absolute error is difference between measured value and actual value, that we know. So absolute error is always taken as positive. It cannot be negative. Why? Because see, it is always in the modulus sign. So absolute error is always positive. Okay. Now let's see an example how. So if a length is measured whose true length is 7.8 centimeter, but the measured value is 0.05 centimeter. Okay, 7.8 plus minus 0.05 centimeter. So in this 0.05 centimeter is the absolute error. So in spite of value lesser than or greater than, we will always add the positive value. Now to have that example, let's see. Suppose that if actual volume is measured 20 liter and measured value is 20.1 milliliter. So what is the absolute error in this case? So for this we will use delta x is equal to measured value minus true value. So what is the measured value? 20.1 minus 20. So we are getting a positive 0.1 ml. So it is always positive. Always remember, absolute error is always positive. It can't be negative. So this is for the today's video. In the next video we will try to understood the percentage error, relative error, and we will see certain examples based on them. Thank you.